Hello, my name is Riz Hatton, and this is my presentation, and it is on the hypersexualization of girls in anime. Anime is often an inaccurate representation of girls and portrays them in a hypersexual manner. This is done by utilizing popular anime tropes such as fan service, the pervert archetype, and pedophilic characters. Hypersexualization becomes normalized in the anime community and is rarely given a second thought. So for starters, what exactly is fan service? Fan service are scenes in which the whole purpose is to present racy and sexual material, usually used to increase viewership and is simply for audience pleasure. An example of this is beach episodes. Beach episodes don't necessarily have to take place at a beach, but it's usually at a hot spring or a pool or some place where you can see the characters in less clothing that makes sense. Unfortunately, since these characters are minors, the episodes are kind of uncomfortable, especially watching them as an adult and seeing these characters portrayed in a very sexual manner. Usually you see the male characters in the show that sometimes are their age, sometimes not, looking at these characters in a sexual way as well. Then there are upskirt shots. These shots have been extremely controversial, and basically what they are is when it's animated in an angle where you can see a female character underwear from her skirt. And it's super uncomfortable and serves no real purpose for the show, aside from fan service. Another example is exaggerated features. This can be very big boobs or a very big butt, things that aren't characteristics for young girls. Especially, them being such a young age, there's no real reason why they may have features that size. An example of people and anime companies using fan service in their marketing is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I've watched this anime before, and the character you see here, Mei, is only seen wearing this costume at the very beginning of the first episode. It doesn't contribute to the plot at all, and was simply used in this marketing to increase viewership. Some other examples are these two shows that you can actually find on Netflix. Kakegori is a school about high schoolers at a sort of gambling academy. They are all minors and they get sexually excited when gambling, and you can see them making sexual innuendos towards when gambling and certain expressions. And also in Food Wars, we can see that the characters are sexually excited when they have very good meals, which is a little odd, if you can imagine. They are all minors, and whenever they have a good meal, you can see the characters' shirts fly off and are portrayed in very sexual situations. Though the same thing happens with the male characters, it seems like it's done in a more explicit way with the female characters here, especially the young girls. This is used not just for shock factor, but to hypersexualize these characters and to maintain viewership. And then there is the pervert archetype. This character is typically male and serves as a sort of comedic relief for the audience. They often touch girls without permission, make sexual advances, and often make lewd comments. The issue with this is that it can lead the audience to not really understand what sexual harassment is, especially if they are a younger audience viewing it, and they may not understand why it's not funny, especially why these jokes may not land in real life. An example of this is in Inuyasha, a popular shonen anime, in the character Maruku. He hits on random women and asks every woman that he meets to bear his child, even children. He often touches his friend Sango's butt without permission, which often ends with a slap on his face. These characters also serve to sexualize young girls. And then there's the pedophilic characters. These characters are typically male and older and go after younger girls. An example of this is in Sailor Moon, where Tuxedo Mask, who is a college-age student, is dating the younger middle school-aged Sailor Moon. Another example is in Fruits Basket, where Toru, who is a high school girl, comes to live with Shigure, and two other younger members of his household, as she's homeless. As she becomes friends with them, the two other younger members of the household that go to her high school are often afraid to leave her alone in the same room with him for fear that he may flirt with her or hit on her and make advances towards her. These characters come up so often in anime that it begins to normalize pedophilia, so when we see it, we may think nothing of it. So why is this a problem? For one, it can create unrealistic body expectations for young East Asian girls. People don't look like the way women are portrayed in anime, especially for young girls. Young girls do not look like this, and it can be really hard seeing that if it's your favorite source of media. It can lead them to engage in sexually risky behavior, especially at a young age, if they see their favorite characters doing so, and can make them feel abnormal for not being hypersexual. All of this can lead to low self-esteem. However, not all anime is like this. Here are some examples. In Snow White with the Red Hair, it's a very romantic sort of anime without being like overly sexual or sexual at all, really. The main male character, who's in love with Shiroyuki, really respects her and supports her and doesn't make any odd sexual advances towards her as well. In Yona of the Dawn, she is the sole female character surrounded by male characters who protect and respect her. She's only 16, so it's great to see that she's not being hypersexualized throughout the show. In Attack on Titan, all the female characters have realistic features. And it's really good to see that, especially since it's a very action-heavy anime, and it wouldn't be realistic seeing girls fighting in bikinis and other scantily clad clothing. There's also a mutual respect between the colleagues within the show. In M. Butterfly, we saw how Rene Gallimard's expectations of East Asian women led to his downfall. He believed them to be submissive and less than, and used them only for his affair, and he was a bit on a power trip. The stereotypes of the hypersexualized, submissive East Asian woman that were upheld by Rene Gallimard, whose actual name is Bernard Bousquet, a French diplomat, as it's based off of a true story in 1964, are still upheld in modern media, such as anime, and in real life. All the examples that I've shown you in this presentation make that very clear. We must push for media that represents East Asian women in a positive and truthful light, so that these harmful stereotypes can stop being reinforced. Thank you for coming to my presentation today. Goodbye!